Making Big Shifts, presented by Marketing Reboot, with your host, Josh Anderson.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Making Big Shifts by Marketing Reboot. I am your host, Josh Anderson, where we talk to real entrepreneurs making really big shifts and the results that followed. Today, we're excited because we have Jason VanDevere here on with us. He is the author of the best-selling book, Dream Driven, the step-by-step process to discover your perfect business idea and launch it in a year. Launch it this year, which is a huge part of that, and the founder of Goal Crazy Platform. So welcome to the podcast, Jason.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Josh.
Really excited to dive into this book. So just tell us about yourself, a little bit about your background, and then what led you to writing Dream Driven.
Yeah. So before I started my entrepreneurial journey, I was actually working for my family. My dad is a car dealer here in Akron, Ohio. So if you ever come here, you'll see our last name, VanDevere, all over the city. They've got 5 dealerships, so VanDevere, Kia, Cadillac, Chevy. Our last name's all over. So I was supposed to basically take over the family business and be part of the 4th generation to have this portfolio of dealerships. And after working there for a few years, I decided that's not what I wanted to do with my life. So everybody told me it was an absolutely crazy idea to turn down that opportunity. But my dream was to design my own planner. So I left the dealership. I made this planner called Goal Crazy, which helped people set their goals, track their goals. I launched that business in 2019. And selling planners full-time for a few years. Then that kind of turned into workshops and courses, coaching programs, most recently a book, Dream Driven. And then on the side, I have some rental properties. So I'm up to 34 apartments and can hopefully keep growing that as well. So that's maybe like my highlight reel.
Yeah. No.
But other than that, I'm like normal entrepreneur. Lots of things I do don't work and just figuring it out as I go.
I love that. And that could go down, we could go down so many rabbit holes that way. But tell me about Dream Driven and why did you want to write this book now? And who's the ideal audience? I mean, by the subtitle, you can kind of tell, but what do you think?
Yeah. So people who I had been coaching, when I first started coaching, was helping entrepreneurs with their goals and their time management. And the people that I got the most excited about were people who were launching either a new business or some sort of new venture. But it seems like you kept having the same conversations again and again. I'd done these workshops again and again and again. So it was always a dream of mine to write a book. And it kind of was just clear one day that I have everything I need for this book. It's not like I had fresh ideas that I wrote down. It was like, this is all stuff I've said dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So it was just figuring out how to put it in a process.
Okay. Makes sense. So then let's just kind of dive in using less proven method. What is the secret sauce behind it? I know like the 3 L's framework, things that just kind of go into that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I might even backtrack a step prior to give you like the right context for that 3 L's. So like the book walks you through basically 3 steps where first you're going to find your right business idea, then you're going to validate it, and then you're going to launch it. And when you're finding your perfect business idea, I give that there's 2 approaches to entrepreneurship. There's the dream-driven approach, which I'll get into here in a minute, but then there's the easy money approach. And the easy money approach is what most people use when they're trying to figure out what's the right business idea. And the easy money approach is what business is the easiest to start that will earn me the most amount of money? What's the easiest to start that will earn me the most amount of money? And they start to search the market for the perfect product or widget to launch. And sometimes that works, but the problem is, and I'm sure you can relate to this, starting a business is hard. It's just hard. And since easy money is the foundation of the business, if either the easy component or the money component go away, which is likely to happen, the entrepreneur just quits and goes and looks for the next easy money business idea. Versus the entrepreneurs that I've worked with who are the most successful, that actually make their dreams happen, is they do the dream-driven approach, where the root question at the bottom of that is, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And once you get the answer to that, then you create the business that'll be the means to achieve it. And similar to you, I've got a podcast of my own. So I've had the opportunity to interview all these entrepreneurs. Some have the most random of businesses. And it's like, truly believe after meeting so many entrepreneurs, just about any business can be turned successful. So it's like, rather than scouring the market for this perfect product or widget to sell, what if you scour your heart to figure out what business is going to light the fire inside of you? So that way, when the challenges do come up, you have the desire and the courage to push through them. So the 3L framework is, once you start to uncover, and I can give kind of a methodology to uncover what these dream business ideas would be, you form a list of these business ideas, and then you can use the 3Ls to figure out, all right, which one am I going to start first? Which is the best one to use?
I love that. No, for sure. Yeah, you got to have that passion behind it to keep going during the hard times, right? I think building off your story about having a podcast, but it truly is, you are right. Like, I've interviewed the most randomest people that had the most random
Yeah.
businesses in the world, and they're like 6, 7 figure businesses, and they're just crazy. It's like good for you, but you got to have the passion behind it. I want to ask you about when it comes to the dream driven business, you got to make sure there's a market there, right? Though, I mean, like, how do you validate that the actual market's there that you care about? Say you care about building dollhouses. I have no idea where that came from, but you care about building dollhouses. How do you validate that that is an actual business where you can actually earn a living on?
Yeah, super important because that's I almost break validation. It's like three steps. The first is the three L's, which we can come back to. That validates like this is the right business idea for you. Because like might be a good business idea for somebody else, but doesn't mean it's the right one for you. But then there's the other two steps of validating are does the product or service work and will people pay profitable prices for it? So for both of those, for does it work? The two methods that I recommend for people to validate that is focus groups and beta testers. You need people to actually try it. Like when I designed my planner, I spent over 6 months just interviewing successful entrepreneurs,
Nice.
figuring out how they set their goals, track their goals. But I did 7 rounds of focus groups, and those were so powerful for me. Like somebody had recommended that I did a focus group. And I thought it was like a silly idea, but out of respect to the person, I was like, okay. So I got half a dozen people over. I thought it would take an hour for them just to try out my planner design. And we were there for over 3 hours. We didn't even make it through the whole design. Everyone was just tearing it apart. This doesn't make sense. I'm confused. This is too much writing. It seems repetitive. So that like crushed me, right? But then it was like, well, now I have these problems that I need to fix and then it'll be better. Like I'd rather get the information now when I can fix it rather than later. And like even with my book, I had 42 beta readers. But so that's validating, does it work? You need people to try it. And then you need to figure out will people pay profitable prices for that? And best way I feel like to do that is pre-sales. You need to pre-sell the product. Everyone will tell you it's a great idea when you're like, oh, I'm thinking of doing this. And it's like, okay, everyone thought like, oh, planner, great idea. Like, let me know when it launches. I'll buy one. And it's like, great. Go ahead and Venmo me $20 right now. And I'll get you down on the list to get one
Put
of
your
the
money
first
where your mouth.
from the
Yeah,
first
exactly.
batch. Yeah. It's like, if they're not willing to pre buy it early, then they don't want it. But like you need both because I think I could have sold a bunch of planners with pre-sales, but if I didn't have the focus groups, when it would have showed up, it would have been a garbage product. Now, pre-sales, like maybe all you need, like now with my courses and stuff, I'll just pitch what I'm about to make. And I've got an email list where it's like, hey, I have a course coming out in 30 days. If you want it, you can get this early bird pricing. If nobody buys it, then I don't make it. If a bunch of people buy it, it's like, well, now I
No,
got
you
to
don't.
make it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you kind of tweak. But if you can't do any pre-sales, then I would do surveys, and
yeah,
there's different softwares that can help with that.
for sure. What kind of get a little specific here? What do you think makes a good focus group? Like the number of people you have. What's the best way to run those?
Yeah, so mine were about 6 people, give or take. I had one that was like 12 people, and that was fine. But I feel like with 6, everyone felt comfortable to share. And this is the interesting thing. When you have a group setting, like I think beta testers, like one-on-one people to try it out and give you feedback is helpful. But with that product specifically, it was like if I met with somebody one-on-one and asked for feedback, nobody gave me real feedback. It was all like, this looks great. When's it going to launch? Oh, I like this. But then if I took the same person who I met with one-on-one who told me it was a great idea and I put him in a group, boom, the lid came off. This doesn't make sense. I'm
Build
confused.
off
This is
each
a stupid
other.
idea. Yeah. So now even over the years, I've done probably another dozen because I have thousands of people using it and they've been using it longer. Like, how do we just keep refining this to make it a better process?
That's awesome for sure. Very, 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 very cool. Yeah, and then like the whole beta testers focus group ideas. One of my mentors says never give anything away for free, even if they pay $1 for it. Like they have more buy-in, right? When to actually test it out and use. So like we're currently building some SaaS in the background, but he's like, don't ever give it away for free. Make sure, even if they never actually pay, just at least commit to them putting their money where their mouth is, I guess, so to speak. I don't know if have you seen anything like that as well? Hey, sorry to interrupt the podcast really quick. If you're getting value from making big shifts, please subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next conversation. All right. Appreciate it. And now back to the podcast.
I think that sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I think that sounds good. With mine, like that beta for my planners, it was like a printed out packet with a staple.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
charge anybody for that. Like I wasn't giving them a real planner.
Totally.
It was
Yeah.
just a sample of it.
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do think like if I was launching a coaching program, I would charge a little bit. Like if I was, some sort of service, I think
Yeah.
charging a little bit. If it's like, hey, I'm gonna practice detailing your car, I'll do it for
Exactly. Yeah.
15
Yeah.
bucks. It's like, all right, normal price. Yeah,
Yeah.
just for
For
feedback.
sure. Well, let's go back to the 3 L's now because we went down a whole different area. Yeah, let's talk about the 3 L's framework now.
Yeah. So for somebody to make this list of business ideas, they need to start dreaming every single day. And I feel like I keep kind of giving pre-context for this 3L framework, but I wanted to find what I mean by dreams so that people understand how to use this 3 L's. I think everyone who's listening to this is already familiar with how to set goals, right? Like goals, they're clear, they're specific, they're something you actually want to do, they're realistic. But dreams, on the other hand, dreams are different. When you're dreaming, you just ask your heart, what would I love to do? What would I love to experience? They don't have to be realistic. They're things you may do, may not actually do. It's the affinity of your desires. And once you have these dreams, then you can set goals that work at accomplishing those dreams, right? And our dreams, therefore, give our goals meaning. And you can set goals without dreams. That's what most people do. If you have goals and you don't have dreams, then they're just not aiming at anything. They lack meaning. And when you have no meaningful goals in your life, you end up in this place that I call survival mode, where you're just working to stay afloat. You're just trying to survive. So I really encourage people, one, to dream. Like, just ask your heart, what business would be fun? Like, if you already had all the money in the bank, you can earn enough off your interest just to support your lifestyle. Like, what business would you start for fun? Make a list of these, and then you're going to use the 3 L's to clarify which one is the right one. So the first is longing. Is there a big enough longing inside of you to get this business started? It's kind of like if the challenge that arises when you're starting your business is bigger than the amount of desire you have, you're going to quit and you're just
Yeah,
going
for
to jump
sure.
ship to something else. But if the desire is far greater than the challenge, then it doesn't matter what the challenge is. You're just going to keep pushing through. So we have to make sure there's a big enough longing. And how I do that is the business idea has to pass the first alarm test, which, are you willing to get out of your bed on your first alarm to work on this business idea? If you're not, then go find a different one. Like, you got to find something that lights a bigger fire inside of you. So first one is longing. The second one is lifting. And what I mean by that is it should elevate you to being a better version of yourself. It's kind of like whenever I'm going to set a big goal, whenever I want to start some sort of new business venture, I want that business venture to be such a big goal that right now I can't achieve it. Like, launching that would be outside of my current capabilities. That way, the only way I can accomplish it is if I force myself to improve. I don't know if you follow like Tony Robbins. One of the things he loves that I really like, he says that I like, is it's not about the goal. It's about growing to become the person who can achieve the goal, right? This business venture should force a better version of you to break free and live. So lifting. And then the third is, does it feel light or does it feel heavy? And you want it to feel light. And this is kind of like more internal, but
Yeah.
almost always when I ask an entrepreneur, like, does it feel light or does it feel heavy? They can tell me. Like, the light I connect to, it's fun. I would enjoy doing it. Like when I was working at the dealership, I was on like a very straight path towards success. It had been tried and true for 3 generations in the family. All I had to do was stay there and smile, and I'd be a millionaire in my 30s. But it felt heavy. Whereas the idea of launching a planner business where I had no clue what I was doing, I was going to work a ton, take a risk, it felt light. So I wanted to have those 3 things. And that's what validates for me. All right, this is the right business idea for me. And then I can move into the other validating, because validation in itself is a challenge. And if it doesn't have those 3 L's, you're probably going to jump ship before you even
Totally.
validate it. And you might think, I'm going to skip validating and go to launch, which is a terrible idea. When you find the right thing that triggers the fire inside of you, you're like, no, I'm going to do this right.
I love it. No, for sure. You got to make sure you're on board before your customer, right? Like, make sure you're personally on board. What? All right. So now you validated yourself. You ready. You passed all the 3L framework, right? Now, how do we start to validate it on the market, essentially? What's the
Yeah.
process for that?
I would do the focus groups, beta testers, pre-sales. Yeah. And you just got to do that. I mean, I can give some more examples of things I've
No,
done, but
that's
those
great.
are, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I guess one thing I want to bring up is perfection over progress. How do you get people from being too stuck on something? Because what do they say? Perfection is the killer of progress, essentially. How do you get people to, so you have a business and you have a product and you've done some focus groups in beta. It's never going to be perfect. How do you like get over the fear of launching and then seeing what the market actually does?
Yeah. I mean, I think action just starts to bring clarity. As you start validating those things, it'll give you more confidence to launch it. Like, I remember when I was doing those focus groups, the first couple were so terrible. But then after the last 2, it was like people were getting incredible results in a short amount of time.
Awesome.
Was it just validated for me. And similar with my book, like, so we went through 6 rounds of professional editing. I don't know if you've written a book, but it's this emotional journey of like, this is amazing. And like, this sucks, I suck. And then like, this is amazing. But like, I was in this little loop.
Like being an entrepreneur every day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, before I gave it to beta testers, I was in this place of the whole thing was done. It had gone through several rounds of editing, but you still have this internal, is this just dumb? Like, is somebody going to read it and say, Jason, this is just dumb? But then I had 42 beta readers read it, and it was just unbelievable, the things. And they did provide helpful feedback, but it was like people were making progress. They were telling me about how they got their first client. Like, it was incredible. And then it takes the fire that's inside of you and just makes it bigger. It's like, all right, somebody out there needs this book. And now if I'm slowing down, I'm getting in the way of giving them the help that they need. So I think the validation will help that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What do you think what's the hardest part of starting a business from all the steps you make? Obviously, there's internal validation, there's a market validation, and there's launching. Where do you see people tripping up the most if they are trying to, like, as your book says, launch within a year? Where are they getting tripped up at?
I think they're not following a proven process and they just try and figure it out as they go. So, like, this is another step somewhere in there between step 1 and 2, between once you figure out your business idea. I would always tell somebody, after you nail your business idea down, you have to go find mentors. It's kind of like the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So whenever you want to do something new, the easiest way to do it is to find someone who's already accomplished that and just ask them how they did it. Boom, there's your straight line. So it's like, when I want to launch a new business venture, when I want to write a book, launch a podcast, buy more rental properties, the first thing I do is I need to find somebody who's already done it. And I break down 8 ways in my book on how to do this. I call them experts, but that's going to shortcut your success because you can learn from somebody else.
I would say when I ask people the best single piece of advice they have to offer, I would say 25 to 30% say that, exactly what you just said right there. Even if it costs you money, if it costs you time, go find somebody that's already done what you're going to do, and you're going to do it way faster by having that right mentor. So it's amazing the patterns and the things that you hear in reading people like successful people like yourself. So, now I'll take you up on that. How do you find the right mentor? What are some of your strategies for doing that?
Yeah. So I break down 8 ways in my book. So I'll maybe just start going through some and you can cut me off whenever. But when I'm looking for a mentor, there's 2 criteria that I look for. I want somebody successful, right? I don't want to learn from somebody who failed. I want to learn from somebody successful. And I want them to be in a similar business, but not competition.
Right.
Right. Like, if I find somebody else who's selling planners on Amazon, they're probably not going to share with me the secret sauce of how to do it if they're really successful. But if I have somebody who's selling notebooks or anything else on Amazon, I can learn a lot from their strategies without us being competitors. But where I normally start with one is going to be your normal warm market of friends and family. Who do you know who started a business? Or who do you know who knows somebody?
Right.
Like, when I wanted to start an e-commerce business, I didn't know anybody who started an e-commerce business, but I knew some people were well connected. So I reached out to them. I think that's where I would start. Then networking groups. And I'm going to break this into 2 categories. You got online networking and then in person. Ideally, I'd prefer in person. Go look for meetups. A lot of times there's like BNI groups where certain types of people, BNI groups, chambers of commerce. If you're trying to get in touch with those type of business owners that would be at one of those places, I look up conferences. Huge fan of conferences. Go look up like authors who are in that space you want to be. If they host conferences, great. You're probably going to learn from the author who's talking, but even more powerful, you're going to connect with other people in the audience. For online, Facebook groups, forums, go in there. And to get people on the phone, I have found for like Facebook groups and forums, best strategy I found is go post a question that you're genuinely curious about that would take you a long time to research, but that somebody could answer in minutes if they're an expert in the area. So, for example, I was looking at buying this small mobile home park a couple of years ago as just an investment. And I knew nothing about mobile home parks. And it was called a wastewater treatment plant, whatever, but it had this big expensive thing on the land that I didn't know anything about. So I put in a couple Facebook groups, hey, what should I be looking for when I'm assessing this deal with the wastewater treatment plant? I had some Facebook groups you get replies, some you don't. But if somebody replies, then I'm going to send them a direct message and be like, hey, thank you so much. Would you be willing to hop on a 15-minute call with me? I'm clueless, just trying to learn. I got a bunch of people on the phone with me. Other things I'll do, I'll give you 2 more here. I'll cold call businesses, like going back to that mobile home park. I didn't know anybody who had mobile home parks when I first saw it, but there's tons of them around here. So it was like, all right, I'm just going to cold call these people. And some of them were not nice, but others of them were super willing to help me out. I know the guy who services that park and here's his cell number. And they were just making connections. So another method of finding mentors is I like to look for businesses for sale. A lot of times, if you have a business that's for sale, it gives you the opportunity to sit down with the owner and often go line by line through their profit and loss, their
Totally.
balance sheet, and ask them questions. How are you getting that so high? How are you getting these expenses so low? And I would be upfront with somebody like, "Hey, I'm trying to decide, do I want to buy a business like this or do I want to start it from scratch? This might be able to shortcut the process. And don't do anything completely unethical here, like only if you're actually somewhat curious about buying a business." But that's been a phenomenal way for me to find business owners to learn from. So hopefully somebody can
Yeah, those are
relate
great.
or use at least one of those.
Yeah, those are great. No, for real, that's really good advice. Love it. So as we, kind of move from the book now to Go Crazy, what is the one big shift you want somebody, if they had one key takeaway from Dream Driven, what would that be?
Yeah, figure out what you want to do with your life. I
That's a
think that's like, I
loaded
mean,
piece of
you're going to
advice.
spend your whole life trying to answer
Yeah,
that question. But that's what's kind of light the fire inside of you. You got to do the deep work is what do I actually want to do with my life? I think the book will help with that a lot. I think the planner directly connects to it, but really both of those are
love it.
tools. The book is just set up for somebody who was answered that question is let me launch a business. But the planners, anybody could use it, but you need clarity on that. Otherwise,
Totally.
life is too hard to live without that. And there's
Yeah,
unlimited opportunities.
for sure. Now let's go into that. Let's go into Go Crazy. So you started a business on just a planner, which is amazing. Now you got a coaching business, speaking business, everything podcast built all around this. What makes a good planner a good planner?
Yeah. So there's two things that make mine extremely unique. Is I have it's called the life crash course at the start of my planner that helps somebody get clarity to the answer of that question. What do I want to do with my life? It helps them set goals, get direction, because unless you have an empowering goal, something you're laser focused on, you don't have the confidence to say no to anything. But once you have a clear goal, it's like, all right, I can say no or not now to these things. And now time management is actually possible. If you don't have goals, time management is impossible because you live in an unlimited world. There's an unlimited amount of things you can do at every single moment. So it helps them get very clear on that. It helps them get clear on goals for all the different areas of their life. Why this is really important for business owners is I think a lot of times business owners view their business as the end when it should only be the means. Their business should be the means, not the end. The end that you're after as a business owner is the lifestyle. What's the lifestyle that you want? Once you clarify that lifestyle, boom, now you can make a business that'll be the means to fulfill it. But if you don't, if you create your business as the end, often they succeed. Their business completely overtakes their life. And no hard feelings. Those are many of the people who hire me to be their coach. But that's fine. So like the planner will help them clarify what is that lifestyle? What am I looking for with my business? And then break it down into measurable goals. So that's one thing that's unique about my planner. The other part is it has a very powerful accountability tool. It's kind of like a daily scorecard. Whenever you set a goal, I always want to break it down to what are the habits that are going to make that goal happen, right? Your successful behaviors lead to your successes, or your unsuccessful behaviors lead to your failures. So when you set a goal, it's like, all right, what are the successful behaviors I'm going to need to do every single day to reach that goal? And then I'm going to explain this for people who are watching, but I create a scorecard for myself. Each planner comes with three of these bookmarked scorecards where they map out what would their ideal day be? What would the successful behaviors be that would make it their ideal day? And then every night they give themselves a grade. This is their bookmark. It matches up with these little check marks over here. Number 1, did I do that? Check. Yes. Number 2, did I do that? No. 3, did I do that? Yes. And if you did 7 out of 10, you had a 70% day. But it's just a really easy way to hold yourself accountable because I know if I do these things every day, I'm going to reach my goals. My successful behaviors lead to my successes. So all I need to do is do them every single day. So long question or long answer, successful planner, you got to get clear goals and you need a way to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah. So you build so much psychology into that, right? Just like if you can do these 8 to 10 things a day, every single day, you're going to be successful, right? And everything else needs to go on your do not do list, which you kind of alluded to. I know that was like, but like as entrepreneurs, that's really hard to have that do not do list, right? Because you get the bright light syndrome. Everything looks so fun, looks so exciting, and it's fun to start new businesses and campaigns like we talked about earlier, right? So I think that the do not do list, or however you whatever you called it, I think it's a lot more powerful than people think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What do they say? The level of your yes is determined by the level of your no. It's
Yeah.
like if you want to be able to, when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So you gotta got to pick and choose what you're going to say yes to.
Awesome. What are you excited? What are you working on new? You have a lot of new stuff going on. The book's obviously new. What else are you working on right now that you're excited about?
So this has been an unexpected thing on the back end of this book. So I've been selling these planners for a number of years. I've had like 40,000 people use these planners. And then I've been working with entrepreneurs. So I launched this book on how to start a business. Ever since then, I had people reaching out wanting to become goal crazy coaches, which that was a dream of mine. Never put it out never even mentioned it to anybody else. But I've had so many people wanting this now. My book just launched in September. I have a cohort with 12 people in there who are becoming goal crazy coaches. I'm about to start another one in February. So that's like been a really exciting journey of, all right, here's this framework to get your clients results. And now I can help you launch the business and get them results.
That's
kind of
amazing.
business in a box
Really
psychology.
cool.
So that's been really fun.
So that's pretty awesome. You guys are mentors that are always learning the newest frameworks, things of that nature. And now whenever they're saying I'm learning to be a goal crazy coach, I'm like, I know Jason.
Yeah.
Well, where can people go to find the book? Off Amazon, of course. And what about more about Go Crazy? Where can people find you and reach out to you if they want to?
Yeah. My book is on Amazon. It's called Dream Driven. So you can find it there. My planner is also there. It's called Goal Crazy. Not go crazy. Don't go crazy. Goal crazy. But if somebody is curious about launching a business, I put together a free blueprint that'll walk them through really lots of the stuff we just discussed. It'll walk them through how to clarify their dream business idea, how to validate it, and how to launch it, which we weren't able to get a ton into, but it'll give you frameworks on how to market, launch, sell, all that fun stuff. So if they go to goalcrazy.com/blueprint, they can get a free PDF that'll give them exercises for all 3 of those phases of their business. So check it out. And
Yeah, Go Crazy. That's awesome. All right, Go Crazy and Dream Driven, guys. Check them out. And Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast. I know you're busy, but I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to Making Big Shifts by Marketing Reboot. It would be a huge help to us if you subscribe to the channel and share this with somebody that you think needs it. Your support helps us continue to bring great guests on board and keep the conversation going. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Making Big Shifts. Like, share, and follow for more. Join us next time on Making Big Shifts, presented by Marketing Reboot,